Well, welcome, Relationship Doctor, with you, Dr. J. Calvin Tibbs. Super excited about what we're going to go over today. We've been talking about the concept of what to look for, things we should be looking out for. And I got a few things we're going to go over. I'm going to cover, though, first this point. This is who you are. If you are here, you are somebody, as a person, who loves to live your mission, your life's most meaningful mission. We help you do that. Whether, noted, you are married, unmarried, or working through a spiritual crisis. It does not matter. That's what we do here, and we want to welcome you. Now, specifically, we're talking about part 2 of when it comes to finding a husband. Last time we said, if I were you, I'd stop looking. Well, you got to listen to the video to get the point of that, and it is, of course, available. What we want to do next is really focus upon some details that are going to help you with regards to that. And it's right in front of your face. Actually, it's on either side of your face, in your head, these two. Two of these, one of these, two of these, one of these. Count, do the count. There's a reason for two of these and one of these. It deals with who you listen to. Now, this statement, I hope you can lock in with it. It says, you can draw a straight line from where you are to where you will be based upon the who that you listen to. Say it again. You can draw a straight line from where you currently are to where you will be based upon who you listen to. So let's think about this in this context. I want you to, for a moment, think about how your ears work. I'm not a doctor on that level. They take meticulous detail in studying the bones and the effects of sound when it enters into the ear gate. When it comes into the ear gate, it comes in as sound. Then it's, of course, registered by your soul, by your brain, as information that's got to be processed. It's very complicated. You have been made a very complicated, gorgeous, beautiful person. So if you're struggling right now, one place you can go to begin your process is to the ear doctor. I'm the relationship doctor, so you got to go to somebody else for that piece. But when it comes to the soul aspects of hearing, I'm very much capable of helping you see, or better yet, hear some things from a different perspective that should help you tremendously. For example, you're listening all the time. And I know there's a difference between hearing and listening, so I'm going to use them interchangeably for the sake of this. Because listening is mental, hearing is physical. The ear doctor will help you with your physical hearing. I'm the doctor that can help you with your spiritual healing or hearing. Spirit including the soul. Because at the end of the day, when you really shake this all out, if you cannot measure it in a lab, meaning it's matter, then it's spiritual. And if it's spirit, you need help with that, or help others with it and help us too. But when you're dealing with what you process in the soul, we got to take a look at what that looks like. Because when you are hearing or listening, again, I'm using these interchangeably here, you're literally stockpiling, filing, gathering. And unless you do something with it, it's still there. Words that were spoken to you when you were 7, still there, unless you've gotten rid of them. So let's deal with the sources of where we get our hearing or our sound from. We get it from social media. You're on it right now, unless you're listening to this from some other form. Social media, you got here by social media. You also listen to the sounds around you in your house. You listen when you get in your car and you drive somewhere. If you're at work, you listen to the sights and sounds of things that involve your work experience. Now, here's the one that doesn't get a lot of pub attention, but it's as real as the others. You listen to you. You listen to where you've been. You listen to how life ought to be. You listen to how life is. You may even listen to how life used to be. You're probably listening to how life should be. So there's a list of places that we can draw a straight line from, which is where we are, and draw that to where we will be based on who's talking. Okay, so who you're listening to, very vital towards that. I don't want to leave that yet because I think, take listening for granted. I think I hear you is like, I hear you, but I'm not really listening. Or you heard me. Idea would be, are you listening to me? This is what I want to connect the dots with so that you can move on. Because the question is, if you're looking for a husband, and that's what we've been talking about, if you're looking, trying to find one, when it comes to finding one, my sister, you got to pay attention to who you're listening to. Because if you're listening to Divorced Debbie, and all she can tell you about is how bad divorce life is, and therefore how bad men are, you're listening to that whether you are at coffee, at dinner, or you're on the phone, and you're flat out chilling. And if you're listening to it, I want you to remember, whomever you listen to is living the life that they probably don't want to live. Because if they had it their way, things would have worked out in the relationship. I'm not saying that they are not worthy of insight. They're your girlfriends, and they may very well have information that you can use to avoid, the situation that they're in. But what I want to focus upon is that you can draw a straight line from where you are right now to where you will be based upon who you're listening to and what's contained in that content. Do you want to end up like divorced? I don't want to keep saying divorce, Debbie. The D's rhyme. If you don't want to end up in divorce court, you may not want to listen to divorcees. There may be some things that they can share, avoid this, avoid that, but that was really specifically to them. There may be something in context that you can gain from and you should process. But what's important right off the bat, before we move further into whether the content is good or bad, who are you listening to? What is their experience based upon what you're trying to get done? If you don't, here you go, let's get to these first one. If you don't recognize that we justify who we listen to, and how do we justify it? You justify who you listen to on the basis of relationship. So it's justified. It's okay to listen to my fill in the blanks: mother, father, sister, brother, pastor, friend, coach, co-worker. We justify who we listen to, which means that their words come in as non-threatening. The words come in as trusted. If they come in trusted, then who you listen to is once again drawing a straight line from where you are to where you will be based on who you are listening to. And the reason for that is we justify. That's my coach, man. That's my boy. If you're a lady, that's my girlfriend. What? Who we listen to, please know, on automatic, you justify it. If you listen to the news, you justify why it's important for you to keep listening to negative story after negative story. Now, I know that the word on the street is that good news, bad news sells, but I wonder why the Bible is the biggest selling book of all time. And it's not loaded with bad news, it's loaded with good news. No wonder they call it the gospel, gospel meaning good. So when you talk about the idea that you have to have a constant diet of negative in order to balance out yourself, you don't. The world is already negative. The culture is already negative. I'm talking about all that's in the world, not every person, but the world itself strips most people of their design potential. And by doing that, you don't know who you are. Well, guess what? The world has some answers about your design. So they now begin to talk to you. And if you are not aware that you are justifying the conversation, you just gave potentially bad information that creates a zigzag in your life, permission to speak to you. Who you listen to. I'm just talking about if you're planning on getting married, if you're looking for a husband. When it comes to finding a husband, if I were you, I'd really begin to not so much paraphrase, but I'd monitor. I just begin to monitor who I listen to. And I'll say this too about that. When it comes down to who you listen to, because we justify who we listen to. If people have stopped growing and they're giving you their leftovers, you don't need to justify that conversation. I'm not saying be rude and get up and walk out and storm out and all that. I'm just saying, be advised that when you get away from bad insight because you justified them because you didn't want to hurt their feelings, or you want to maintain the relationship for that moment. When you get away, you got to go through something like this. I dump myself. I empty all of that. I empty all of that out, and I bring back in the direction that I'm headed in. You got to do this out loud because you've already heard it and your subconscious has recorded it. It won't do a thing with it except reproduce the thoughts that lead to actions unless you tell those thoughts to leave. And now there are no supported actions. I hope that makes sense to you. The second thing I want to go over with you is who you're listening to based upon the question. When it comes down to finding a husband, when it comes down to it, I know you're cute, you're beautiful, you're sharp, whatever it is that goes with the you that's you. But I'm telling you, your ears are recording some things. And by the way, what it had recorded up to the meeting, you and the date, you and your boyfriend, you and your fiance, it's still there until you do something with it. Check it out. Number 2, when it comes to people that we listen to, whether it's the news, social media, your girlfriends, your best friend, spiritual friends, coaches, we magnify who we listen to. Yeah, so we justify who we listen to and we magnify. Let's talk about magnification. Magnification is the process of making something larger in its scope. You want to magnify the situation. One way to do that is to keep talking about it. So the more you hear, the angrier you get. The angrier you get, the more it multiplies. Ask Jada and Will and Chris Rock. He laughed at the joke. He must have heard something because of who he was listening to. It led to a Will Smith moment that, I don't know, he may want to forget or wish it didn't happen. I don't know what his position is on it. But it magnified because confidence, also known as faith, comes by hearing. So the more you hear, the bigger what you hear gets. This is the reason why you don't want to keep rehearsing bad news, because it gets magnified. We magnify who we listen to. And I know the who leads to the what. I completely get that because the who is carrying the what. But the who is the entry, is the key, is the gateway to the what. Because the who has validation. We verify, we justify, we give them a pass. So the who that's talking is not a threat because of who it is. So what they have to say comes right in the door with them, and we magnify the words. Now, you may disagree in a conversation about X, Y's, and Z's. That stuff nullifies movement forward. But who we listen to is so important because we magnify what who is saying. You with it? And this is how you magnify it. It's not by volume per se, it can be, but often it is by the repeating of the thing. Girl, I can't believe. Well, yeah, you can because you're saying it. What you're saying is that person said that, and I'm very surprised. You don't need belief in what they said or belief that they said it. They said it. There is no requirement of whether I believe it or not. They said it. The more you say what they said, the greater you magnify it. And now who you're listening to has been verified and now magnified. It's possible that if you keep doing that, you're going to get to a justification level where all negative stuff is associated with your thought process. And I want to go back to this again because this does not leave. You can draw a straight line from where you are to where you will be based upon who you are listening to. You want to get married? When it comes down to finding a husband, if I were you, I would monitor who I listen to, because if you keep magnifying how bad men are and yet you're praying for a husband, or you magnify how bad that last situation was, but you're still looking for a husband, what kind of a Jedi mind trick is this? This is not going to work if you keep magnifying the very thing that you say you don't want. Conversely, if you keep magnifying what you don't want and say that you do want this, you can't roll forward and backwards and call it progress. You can't row forward and backwards and call it progress. It's just not possible. This magnifying occurs with how you see things, i.e., magnifying glass. If you keep magnifying the problem, it does not get you closer to the solution. I'm just simply saying, when it comes to finding a husband, if you look at every man through the lens of destruction or the cracked lens of the past, they don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. We've got to stop magnifying error. But please know this: what comes in through social media, what comes in through the news, what comes in through the relationships and conversations that you have, they are already magnified because they're, what did we say first? They're justified. Their conversation with you is justified. How do you know you justified it? Because you're continuing to hold it in a safe place. You've got to get it out of a safe place if you don't want it there anymore, because if it stays there long enough, you'll find yourself saying things like, I heard somebody say, or, my buddies or ladies, my girlfriend just said, or, what my mama keeps telling me? See, all of this is magnification. You control that, not the speaker, the hearer. That's why there's a word out there. A verse says, be careful how you hear. Yeah. Does that make sense? I hope you're getting this now, because the fact of the matter is, who you listen to is important, and how you justify or magnify those words equally important. Let's go to number 3, because we're dealing with, when it comes to finding a husband, if I were you, I'd monitor who I listen to. And I would also monitor what you listen to that you say. Because if you're still repeating the past, you're probably duplicating it in the present. All right, let's go to number 3. Who do you listen to? That's what we're dealing with. When it comes to finding a husband, who you listen to is very important. Number 3 is, we should qualify who we listen to. We've gone through, we justify who we listen to. We've gone through, we magnify. Now I'm saying we should qualify. You turn on negative stuff, or if you are constantly scrolling, right, through social media, and you're just strolling and chilling, you're listening to things that don't add a lot of value, but perhaps a lot of endorphin rush because of the instant gratification on IG, not Instagram, instant gratification. So if instant gratification is your thing, because you heard about somebody or you saw it last week, and so you're just, I looked at Steph Curry just, a little while ago before this, because I saw the feed about the haters on what he's not. And so he just proved them wrong. Now I understand why at the end he said in the locker room, what do they have to say now? Because he used that as motivation because of who he was listening to. He did not justify nor verify their words. He made them qualify their future words by winning a championship. So your championship, let's just say, is living a life that suits what you are designed for. It is a life where marriage is a part of your desire and your goal. You're qualifying the people that you listen to who move you in that direction or who assist you in getting in that direction. You're not going to constantly keep listening to haters, to prognosticators, to people who are living the nightmare because their dream is over. They stop dreaming, so they may as well help you get destroyed like they are. If that's who you're listening to, you got to qualify who you listen to. You got to qualify that it's even capable of resonating with you. Now, listen, this is not to say don't listen to advisement that's good for you. This is not to say that at all. If you've made up your mind that you're about to go off a cliff with a person whose character is shot and everybody knows it, including you, I'm not talking about that. Don't use this as justification. The relationship doctor said, bump y'all. I got to qualify. You get to qualify whether I listen to you or not. I'm marrying him, and even though he's still married, that ain't that. No. That's a different coaching program. That's a different set of deals here. I'm talking about You're moving in a direction that is valid. It is righteous. It is the thing to do. And you are running into speed bumps in the words of people who you listen to or whom you listen to. Social media, girlfriends, ex-divorcees, current divorcees, How They Done Me Wrong song people, all that group. If that's who you're listening to, that's who I'm referencing. They got to qualify. And you have to qualify them. And I don't mean, again, be rude with them. And girl, I got to cut you off. I don't know how you would do it, but I'm just saying it's not about being a rough version of how you gonna get your stuff going because y'all ain't about nothing. It's not even about any of that stuff. It's not even about that. It's about these three things. We justify on automatic who we listen to. We magnify on automatic who we listen to. Listen, you got to start qualifying who you listen to. And I'm going to tell you this. If social media and the news on television or however you get it on your device is a constant stream for you, unless it's your job, it is not your job to process all the world's events that you have no role in and can do very little about. Where are you going? I'll tell you where you're going. You're going in a straight line because you might as well draw it from where you are right now to who you are listening to. Draw a straight line from where you are to where you're going to be. And I'm going to tell you who's helping you get there. The who, baby. The who is helping you get right there. So the question is, who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Are you qualifying anybody? Or just everybody get to throw their weight around when it comes to you? Are you still listening? Let's final frontier here to you. You know the you you're trying to change from into the you you're wanting to become. Are you still listening to the third grade buddy or friend, girlfriend who told you were ugly and you're still walking around trying to do your own personal nose job because of something she had to say? You're still trying to make your hair look like somebody else's hair because somebody told you your hair is jacked up and that hair is good. Are you still doing that? Please tell me you're not. Who are you still qualifying people or unqualifying? Are you qualifying the unqualified? Maybe that's the real deal. Are you listening to you rehearse, magnify the thoughts from things that went on years ago and you still live by the trappings of those words? Are you still looking at television and then going to church and comparing what the world says to what God says, and you listen to the world more than you listen to God, but you pray to him? Like, what? Who are you listening to? Here's your takeaway. Qualify who you listen to. If you're going to listen to the news, minimize it. Listen to a good book. Are you listening to your negative girlfriends and they don't even know you got the phone out here? And you just listening and requalify. Girl, I got to go. Look, let's talk tomorrow. I don't know what else you say. Let's talk tomorrow. I can't talk right now. You change the subject. Why do we keep talking about stuff we can't do anything about? Let's take it right to the bridge, James Brown style. And ding, 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 ding. James Brown would basically take it to the bridge in the context of this and say, listen, let's talk about something that's going to benefit us both. Oh, so you think you're too good? Well, I am too good. So are you. Why are we talking about things we can't do anything about? Why are we wasting the only commodity that we can't get back? We cannot get time back. You can't, she can't, he can't, they can't. So why are we wasting it on things that we're trying? I don't know if we're even trying to solve other situations. For you, this context is when it comes to finding a husband. How does that conversation help you find a husband? You know, I think back to when I was finding a wife. I was 22 at the time, and I'll wrap it up here. 22 at the time, actually 21. And I had been thinking about this since I was 13, the kind of wife I wanted. She had to be a certain way. She had to look a certain way. In my mind, okay, I wasn't going to adopt her into my life or accept her in and say, now start changing. I'm looking for the one who's that. So this one wasn't, that one wasn't, that one wasn't. And I had a little list in my head about who I would like to, but they weren't all of that, except for the one I've been married to for 38 years. When she came in the door, when she came in the room, She had everything I was looking for. So guess what? Everybody else goes away. But you know what? If I had been listening to what everybody else said I should want, I wouldn't have recognized her. And so it is with you, my darling, my friend. If you're trying to find or be found, if you listen to video one, that's really the route you want to be in instead of competing with these other women out here. When you are found by the person who's looking for you, the reason he can find you is that he can see you. He can't see you being somebody else because you've been listening to the wrong advice. You have to listen to sound things, things that are good, things that are of a good report, things that are pure, things that are truth. You got to listen to things that connect with you. And if they don't connect with you and you keep listening to them, you are a version of what he's looking for. And that's why he can't find you, because you haven't found you, because you're still made up of fake parts delivered by people who might be a full version of themselves, but they are a partial version of the uniqueness in you. You are a sophisticated masterpiece. So why are you going through Crayola crayons and painting that as your version of who you are? Answer: because you don't monitor who you listen to. When it comes to finding a husband, you need to find who you ought to be listening to. And if you are listening to the defeated you, stop talking. And when a thought comes, take it captive, put it out. Nope, not doing that. Nope, not going that way. Nope, that's not me anymore. Nope, here's my t-shirt, read it. Make it up, but you got to be that in order to receive that so that you can become that and be seen at the right level. I hope this helped you. I surely hope this helped you. We went through all of what's necessary on the listening side. Now, here's some more things I want you to listen to. Now, listen, Linda. We have a free Facebook group. Join it. Go to facebook.com, look under groups, and look for the Relationship Doctor. And mix it up in there with people. We're just in the process of getting that going. Or I don't know when you're listening to this, but get in there and say, listen, let's have some girl greatness conversations, some great girl conversations. And stop talking about who did you wrong last week and all that. Sure, put stuff up on the chat, get answers, and get to work on that deal. But mainly, it's not about working on others. It's about working on you. Got another free resource for you. This one is a free strategy session. We'll spend 30 minutes or so together hearing where you are and mapping out a plan for where you want to go, all free of charge. If you want me to coach you, then we can do that in the non-free stuff. But you still got a third free resource, and that is go to calvintibbs.com. There's a free download called Coach Your Way Out. That is correct. Coach your way out of a troubled relationship. If your relationship is in trouble, you can coach your way out of that. We can show you how to do that. Again, free resource, free of charge. Now, this one is for you to invest in. It's very nominal. Go to that email address or to that web address. Just click on that. It'll take you there while we're doing this. And what happens when this occurs is you're going to take a course on why are we here? Why am I here? Now, why are you on this rock with water crashing in? Why are you here? How'd you get here? I'll tell you how. Straight line between who you've been listening to and where you are. You want to know where you're going? Check who you've been listening to. Straight line. Now, you might zigzag your way, but you will arrive at the place of the conversation that has been verified. It's very, very powerful. Check that resource out. It will help you to unclutter some of the thoughts of the past to move you further into your purpose. And then finally, if you are like in the dating stage early and you got that man and y'all are on the first date and you already know he's your husband. He is your husband right now for sure. Like the last one, which wasn't, and the one before that, which wasn't, but this was it. I know it's it, girl. Prove it. Get him to take the Man Made for Marriage survey. It is available at calvintibbs.com. Why do you want to send him there? The answer is it's better than dinner. He will spoil your dinner if he doesn't answer some questions that are important to you. Great conversation. And again, after that, y'all can go through a free strategy session with me and I'll help you with him and him with you. And perhaps we'll coach, or perhaps I'll just give you some free resources and it will bless you and you'll enjoy yourself. Did that help you? I sure hope it did. I can't wait to get together with you in the next location or the next time that it's time for us to gather. But please put these principles together. Don't just be a hearer of this word, be a doer of the same. We'll see you the next time we get together. Relationship Dr. Sam. Auf Wiedersehen. See you soon.